Good evening. Good evening. I have exciting news for today's update. Today was an amazing day for tenants. House Bill 802 got out of the Senate and heads to the governor now. And that would, as we've discussed, allow for localities to sue landlords, slumlords, where the living conditions are so substandard that they go against the health and safety standards within the document that kind of guides the relationship between landlords and tenants. And so we're talking about rodent and insect infestations, mold, mildew, leaks, all of those sorts of things that we're seeing across the Commonwealth, where the landlord might not even live in the state. They'll pay the fine as opposed to actually helping the tenant be in a better situation. And I've also talked about the increased incidences of asthma in our babies. And so that makes it worse. And so the health and vitality of our children is really dependent upon their living situation and the safety and health of it. So a great day for that. We'll continue to watch the bill through the process. And we also got 4 House joint resolutions out of the Senate, which means they're done. They passed. They don't have to go to the governor. One is to establish August as Black Business Month. And so you'll hear more about that coming up. One to establish September as PADS Awareness Month, and that was peripheral arterial disease, and that is to make sure that people really ask the right questions prior to an amputation to prevent amputations, to know the difference between diabetic neuropathy or, some of the things that they might be experiencing with PADS. We also are establishing Girl Scout Week on the week of March 12th to help them celebrate. We had another resolution to help them celebrate their 110 years this year, but to establish Girl Scout Week for the week of March 12th this year and every year after. And then we also had, oh gosh, the fourth one. Oh, Food Allergy Awareness Month. And that is to just show, those of us with food allergies are not just picky eaters. Some of us are just trying to stay alive and to learn what anaphylaxis is and what that means, and to make sure that we're taking care of each other in community. So those bills passed today. And so we are continuing to work on Senate bills. We finished the work of the Health, Welfare, and Institutions Committee today. So you'll see committees start to wrap up their work, but then some of the other committees, like our General Laws Committee, will still meet on Thursday because there's still some bills to hear. Now, tomorrow is going to be interesting. There are going to be quite a few starts and stops. And so sometimes we have to communicate between the bodies. And so just be patient if you're tuning in, maybe take a break, take a walk, and some of the breaks, get some sun. But that'll be coming up tomorrow. But tonight at 9 o'clock, President Biden will be delivering the State of the Union address. So be sure to tune in to hear, I'm talking about how we're helping on the state level. You can tune into your school board and city council meetings to hear what's happening on the local level, but the federal level really does lead a lot. And so much has been done just looking at the leadership through this pandemic since the beginning of this year, for recovery efforts, for education, for creating jobs. And you can actually hear that for yourself this evening, straight from President Biden at 9 p.m. So I do encourage you to tune in. As always, if you have any questions, please let us know. And then we are also going to be having some memorial and commending resolutions come up. And so we can talk about some of the life, legacy, and accomplishments of great folks in the 95th District. And so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. But that is my update for this evening. If you have any, wait, one more. So remember when I told you that the subcommittee, the General Laws Subcommittee, had heard and defeated the marijuana legislation, which would establish the process by which marijuana could be legally sold in Virginia? Well, we in full committee, they actually killed it. So it's dead. And it had a deadline of being heard by the Appropriations Committee because it does have an impact on the bill. So unfortunately, we just don't have that mechanism, but stay tuned because all is not lost. There are different ways that legislation can be done. It's just not the end of the road. If they decide, they can still take this up either through special session or Yeah, I'm not sure, but it just seems like a really huge missed opportunity. It's dangerous to have the illicit market grow. It's a dereliction of duty to not continue the process to make sure that things are done in a way that's safe and legal. And so, all they had to do was reenact the bill that we had or pass the one that we had before. And again, the conversation that we had on social equity, where any of these bills that are missing the social equity pieces are really missing out on the opportunity to do the work of justice. So maybe the conversation's done, maybe it's not, but either way, definitely stay tuned as we're going to have continuing conversations of the work of justice in other areas as well. So have a good evening.